Me, a legit actor who actually graduated from acting school. They had me play a corrupt official, and with noodles and garlic in hand, the whole audience said I was framed. They had me play a psycho, and my vicious look got used by countless parents to scare their kids. But when I joined an acting variety show, some Nepo guy stole my spot. The cop role that should have been mine got turned into an addict role. As I looked at my new addict character, my heart completely sank. How the hell was I supposed to act this? Just as I was complaining, an electronic voice suddenly rang out. Congratulations, host. The fake it till it's real system has been activated. Target role detected, addict. Reward, become a real addict with 10 years of addiction. I froze for a second. Wasn't this basically my ticket to the top? But the very next second, it felt like every ounce of energy in my body vanished. I opened my mouth wide and yawned. Tears started streaming down uncontrollably. Then the examiner's face darkened and he shouted, "The assessment begins. Both contestants, get into position according to your roles. Treat the table and chairs in the middle as the interrogation room setup." As soon as he finished, I suddenly shouted, "Wait, give me another second to get ready." Then I turned and ran to the corner, crouching down and dry heaving. Everyone in the room was stunned. What was going on? Zhao Zhilong, who had taken my cop role, didn't seem to care. He just sat down in the chair. Zhao Zhilong mocked me. "Nervous enough to puke, huh? That mental game is way too weak. Put you in front of a camera and who knows how bad you'd throw up." The examiner surnamed Meng glanced at him. "Zhao Zhilong, get into character, find the feeling." "Got it," Zhao Zhilong answered with a grin. Meanwhile, I was in the corner, shaken to the core. Something felt seriously wrong with my body. I felt like I was falling apart. I had never touched the hard stuff, but suddenly my arms were covered in goosebumps. My stomach was churning, my limbs were shaking, and cold sweat was pouring out of me. This was definitely not normal. Thinking back to the system's voice, had I really become an addict? Could I still switch back? As soon as that thought appeared, another voice rang out in my head. "Host status switch complete." In an instant, I was back to normal. All the discomfort vanished. At that moment, I almost cried from relief. Thank God I could still switch back. So this system was seriously insane. It could actually turn me into the state of whatever role I was playing. I played an addict, and I really became one. Suddenly, Meng shouted from behind me, "Chen Feng, are you ready or not? Keep stalling and you're eliminated." "I'm ready," I answered without even turning around. Then with one thought, I switched back into the addict's body again. After that, I slowly stood up, turned around, and staggered over to Zhao Zhilong, shaking all over. Then I dropped into the chair across from him. In that moment, everyone froze. His face had turned blue. As Judge Meng called out, "Action!" the assessment officially began. Zhao Zhilong was playing the interrogator, a plainclothes cop. He needed sharp eyes and body language that showed strong pressure, so Zhao Zhilong sat there steadily. At least he didn't laugh and his face looked serious. But there were way too many things that felt off. For one, he was clearly wearing makeup today, and his eyes weren't sharp at all. If anything, they looked kind of creepy. Across from him, I was playing an addict losing control under interrogation, going into withdrawal. I had 10 lines, all pretty simple. Once the performance started, I went straight into character. My whole body trembled, my face turned pale blue, and I sat there. One hand kept scratching my arm without me even thinking. Cold sweat covered the back of my neck, soaking through my t-shirt. "Oh, officer, do you have a cigarette? Just one?" Zhao Zhilong blinked but didn't move. His eyes were full of suspicion. Was this guy acting or was this real? His face had gone blue. When did his eyes get that bloodshot? Could there actually be something wrong with him? I yawned hard, forced my eyelids open, but my body was already starting to shake. "I really don't know who you're looking for. Officer, give me a glass of water, okay? Staring me down like that?" As I spoke, I yawned again. "Staring at me won't do anything. I'm begging you, just let me have one smoke." I couldn't take it anymore. My whole body was shaking hard, my eyes were bloodshot, and I was clearly starting to get agitated. Across from me, Zhao Zhilong changed his posture. From the arrogant way he sat at first, he shifted into a guarded position. The defensive vibe was obvious. And when he looked at me, there was no acting left in his eyes. All that remained was panic. Is this guy actually jonesing right now? How can anyone act this well? Zhao Zhilong suddenly turned to look at Examiner Meng. At that moment, all three examiners were looking at each other, including the two crew members filming in the corner. Everyone had the same thought. This guy really looked like he was going into withdrawal. My expression became twisted, and I kept wiping sweat off my face. I looked at Zhao Zhilong with a fierce, manic stare. "You want to pry my mouth open? Give me a cigarette, or you won't get a damn thing out of me." "What are you looking at? Getting mad? Getting mad, huh? Hit me, come on, hit me. From that look in your eyes, you really, really want to hit me, don't you? Come on, come on. Hit me, beat me to death." I practically screamed those last few words at the top of my lungs. Zhao Zhilong was scared by my eyes and my expression. He instinctively stood up, backed away several steps, terrified, and even knocked over the chair. At the same time, all three examiners stood up too, staring at me in shock. By now, the atmosphere in the assessment room had completely changed. Seeing my condition getting scarier, Examiner Meng hurried over to the older examiner and whispered, "Mr. Song?" The older examiner was starting to panic too. He didn't say a word. He just stared at me, unable to tell whether this young man was acting or really going through withdrawal. At least so far, I had already delivered 7 of my 10 lines, especially that last one with all the madness and hysteria in my voice. And those final lines, "hit me, beat me to death," were all improvised. The effect was off the charts. Now the older examiner felt goosebumps all over his body. If this really was acting, it had completely pulled him into the scene. It even made him suspect this young man was actually going through withdrawal. If so, this acting was way too terrifying. In the corner, the two crew members quietly leaned together. "Holy crap, Lee, is this kid actually going into withdrawal? Looks like it. Should we call the cops?" "Stay out of it. The bosses haven't said anything yet. Just keep watching." Lee, I feel like he's about to lose it. What if he really goes crazy and flips the table? Do we go help? I heard people going through withdrawal are like rabid dogs. If they bite you, you'll need a rabies shot. Before he could finish, there was a loud bang. At that moment, I had fully entered the state of withdrawal. I suddenly flipped the table in a manic rage, and a low growl came from my throat. In that state, if I saw a table, I flipped it. If I saw a stool, I smashed it. Everything irritated me. I couldn't sit still. I was restless and furious. Like a trapped beast, I wanted to tear everything apart. "Let me take a drag," I roared. Then I suddenly rushed right up to Zhao Zilong. The move was so abrupt that his face went pale and he immediately dodged backward. But in his panic, his left foot tripped over his right heel, and he fell onto the floor with a thud. That move was like lighting the fuse on a stick of dynamite inside me. I rushed over, slammed my knee hard into Zhao Zilong's chest, and screamed like a madman, "Let me take a drag! Let me take a drag! Let me take a drag!" One of my hands clamped around Zhao Zilong's neck, while the other frantically searched all over him. Zhao Zilong was so scared his hands and feet went numb. Zhao Zilong screamed in terror, "Help!" Examiner Meng finally panicked and shouted, "Chen Feng, what are you doing? Hurry up and help! Pull Chen Feng off him!" The two cameramen in the corner felt their hearts drop. It was over. This really was withdrawal. They had to move. The two grown men worked up their courage and rushed in. Just then I actually found a pack of cigarettes in Zhao Zilong's pocket, and immediately,